subscribe.
Remember, someday you will all die. It's gonna happen, maybe right now. I'm so high, and that's okay. Back in the day, I was locking folks up. So get out and go to prison. Do not listen to me, and do not be birds. And let me be clear, the sky is round. The earth is blue. Howard University, f*** you.
I throw hands like wheel stands. Take 10 bands like wheel stands. Take 10 racks like wheel stands. Study blacks like wheel stands. I'm the fit like wheel stands. I convoy split like wheel stands. Disrupt ice like wheel stands. Oh yeah, super soldier wheel stand. So kill George Floyd like a stand. So kill George Floyd like a stand. So George Floyd like a stand. So.
You're finally awake. Let me tell you something. They have treated me so bad. They have treated me very unfairly, and quite frankly, it's a disgrace. Listen, Dragonborn, the Imperials are very strong, very strong. The Empire is very strong here. You know, I have fought mud crabs more fearsome than some of these Stormcloaks. They are so bad. Let me tell you something. This guy, he used to be an adventurer like you. He took an arrow to the knee. Isn't that something? The High Elves are a great people. They are beautiful, tall people. They know a lot about real estate. And the Stormcloaks are just pathetic. These Dark Elves are not good people. A lot of them are criminals. Morrowind is a total shithole, if I'm being honest with you. Donald has wares if you have coin. People ask Donald if he has wares, and he says yes. But in order to make a deal with Donald, you have to bring coins. The Giants love Trump. I asked him who he was going to vote for, and he said Trump all the way.
Free hat. It's just that, you know, he killed 23 babies.
Yeah, but it was in self-defense. Yeah!
He killed 23 babies in self-defense?
Hat was attacked maliciously and unprovoked by a gang of babies in Westtown Park. When that many babies get together, they can be like piranha.
3 eyewitnesses testify that if Hat hadn't killed those babies, they'd have killed him. Yeah! Free Hat!
Milikowski! Buzzard! Austrian Panther! Guess who's back to roast another Joe? It'll be 6 million and one by the time I'm done with you. You're trying to beat me in the rap as like you're trying to win a competition for who has the biggest force. And yeah, you're looking at the leader of the master race. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the leader of a terrorist state. Dude, what's with all the killing of the women and children? You know it's bad when I'm the one telling you to chill, man.
I can't believe my eyes. A resurrected leader. To be fair, we didn't believe it the last time either. And you're looking at the leader of the chosen people, homie. Your master race stick was we wasery and just a bad copy. Rapping is easy with Jewish verbal IQ. And even if you somehow beat me, then I'll just sue you. It's good to see that you're still salty over World War II. Tell me, how did it feel to be beaten by Jews?
Yes, I remember who won, and it clearly wasn't you. In fact, I'll give you 6 million reasons that it wasn't the Jews. I'm chilling in my bunker, and I got one in the chamber. I ain't talking about the gun, I mean the other kind of chamber. Are you still gonna give me grief for trying to gas you while you're gaslighting if there's no genocide in Gaza? Let's see if you can keep it together after all those jokes. It wouldn't be the first time that I've seen a Jew choke.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday night. We made it halfway through the week, a couple days left until the weekend. Wednesdays are like my favorite stream. Not for any particular reason. I just happen to like them. Hope you're all doing quite well. We've got some shooting stuff to discuss. We've got drama. We've got people crashing out a little bit. We got a bit of Bendy Bill news. And what else do we got? Nope, not much more than that. Oh, I got that in the wrong order. We got lots of fun stuff, okay? Some horsing around. We got the ATF is going to do things to you unconsensually, which is not very nice. It's usually not consensual with the ATF. But before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and bring on our wonderful guest and co-host, Richard. How's it going?
Good. I too love the Wednesday night streams because it breaks up the week so nicely. Helps me get
Yeah,
through the
they're
week.
usually pretty chill. Like every stream is different. Like Mondays, you got Jake on, so it's going to be a little wacky. It's going to be lots of toe talk. Wednesday is just me and you, so it's chill. And then Fridays are, the gaming streams, which can get quite rowdy. Sometimes they get removed from YouTube altogether. It's like, what am I supposed to do about it? Oh well. Well, let's get to something very, very important. And by important, I mean completely meaningless. Let's get to things that you should not buy for $100 or for any amount of money. Really, we have the Gunner Gear Flip Up Red Dot sites. Okay, this is our midweek product highlight of things not to buy. Okay, some stores do product highlights with their banners and their ads, like, oh, dude, check out this company this week because they have this product. This is the opposite of that. The Flip Dot Reflex site combines low folding design with rapid deployment, giving you a clear sight picture in seconds. Compatible with pistol slides and Picatinny rails. It's built for fast transitions. Fast transitions, huh? Secure storage and dependable performance whenever you need it. Yes, the front lens is indeed spring loaded, so I guess that helps it to maintain zero, right? Because the lens isn't moving because you have the emitter in the back, which is obviously stationary. And then it clicks down into place for storage purposes. Not really too sure about that, but I just think it would be so funny to mount this on a real handgun, right? Because with the reciprocation of the slide, that every time the slide bottoms out, at the back, that lens is going on whoop, whoop every time that it hits. Is it actually going to hold zero? Almost certainly not. Is it a complete gimmick? Absolutely. And surprisingly, there have been a few of these floating around for a while now where people have tried to make this type of thing work. And I just don't know why. I think it must appeal to either aesthetics or airsofters, right? Something where it doesn't really matter about performance. It just has to look like something. So you do have rear iron sights in the back, even though when it's folded down, as you can tell, it blocks the iron sights. So it's like that's attention to detail, but not really. And also,
That makes it worse, doesn't it?
Oh, it makes it way worse, right? Because it's like they give you they give you the rear iron sights, like, okay, that's something, but then when it's folded you don't have any iron sights. So okay, now you might be asking yourself, who would sell something like this? And this is a company that I've never heard of before, and there's a few of them floating around. We have Gunner Gear. Gunner Gear Pro Tactical Gear, tactical equipment for every mission. Okay, we got the belly band holster. Okay, for some of you biggins out in the chat. We got a takedown lock. What?
The belly band.
The belly band, dude. I mean, it technically works. Like, where would you ever need a belly band? If you're like a monk, and you have like all your vestments on, and you got to carry it somehow.
Almost as bad as the Vanish holsters.
Yeah, but at that point, like, you should just go with something that you can put around your leg and do like a leg, like an ankle holster or something like that. Like get like a, either a standard 365 or one of the P380s or something really small, or Bodyguard 2.0 that you can put around your ankle at that point. Belly band, not my personal favorite. Now let's see, maybe they have a good selection. Let's check out firearm upgrades, as I was just doing before the stream. Click on it. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. Is it actually not going to load? I'm clicking voraciously. Okay. Let's see. Purpose over profit. Money back guarantee. Veteran approved. See, that's why people say veteran anything. It just doesn't mean anything. It's such nonsense garbage. Let's see. We got a Attach-Eye bundle. We have the Hawkeye sling. Hawkeye mentioned. What's it going to do? Scam you? Dual point sling. Black Ops laser. Black Ops laser for $60. That's not bad. We got the Picatinny to pick Black Ops laser. Love that. The Straight Shot T2. Okay. The 360 tactical laser. When are they going to come out with the tactical laser 1 or the 1S or the 1X? Okay. So those are our upgrades.
Have you looked into the company at all?
I mean, I haven't. I just pulled it up today to see what I could find on it because that was whoever put that image in the Discord. It was from Gunner Gear. So it's just garbage, guys. It's just wish.com, AliExpress, literal garbage. It's nothing at all. Now, I did find in my perusing another flip up iron site or flip up red dot site, my apologies, from another, I don't know what this is. South African. I have no idea what currency this is, but they have made these. I want to say back in the day, Strike Industries, or maybe
They were all over Amazon.
or maybe UTG. Like one of those guys made
I think it was Fayachi.
Fayachi. I mean, again, it's one of those brands that they all just run together because they're all the same, made by the same people, you know. But yeah, I want to say
think
there
UTG
was
is one of the few that's not actually made by the same group of people, but I think it was Fayachi because I saw it and I was like, that's absolutely atrocious. How long until the lens pops out and hits you in the face?
I'm gonna look that up. UTG flip up red dot site because something in my mind is like they definitely made one back in
They
the
may
day.
have, but
Because UTG is one of those companies where they're so strange because they make like the bottom of the barrel garbage, of course, and then they also make like really high end scopes and like some of the best MP5 attachments. It's like
it
very,
is
very
odd.
strange.
And every once in a while, you'll get a really, really cheap scope from them that's got decent glass in it.
The Bug Buster, the 1-8s back in the day, were like some actual high value options somehow.
I still
But-
have that 1-8 from you.
It's decent. I had like 4 of them at one point. The Gunner Gear, yeah, the flip up red dot sights. I'm just gonna say, if you see this on your rifle or your bro's rifle, it's time to of mice and men him and put him down. All right. I mean, what's he gonna do? Try and shoot you with his gun? It's not gonna work, okay? Because it's gonna be folded for storage and quick access, and it's just not gonna be ready to deploy at a moment's notice. But let's talk about actual shooting stuff, shall we? So Ben posted this earlier today, and I mean, this image has been going around, and essentially, this is what some people are freaking out about: is the 180 rule in USPSA. And the 180 rule, if you are not familiar, is that there is a magical 180-degree line that you cannot cross in USPSA, and it follows you throughout the entire stage. So at no point are you allowed to break this magical 180-degree line to your left or right. And what that means is, though, you can get up to 179.9. So if you have a stage that's starting all the way at the back of the bay and somebody places a target that is basically perpendicular to you, you can get a shot like this. Now you can clearly see this is not 180 degrees. It's probably like 170 to 175. You can see some people, some old folks, it looks like, hanging off over here by the berm, which is just unwise in general, right? But this is not, in my opinion, this is not particularly unsafe, and this is not particularly dangerous for anyone involved, except for the people that have put themselves here by the berm, right? So he's not breaking any rules. He's playing the game as he should. I know some people might be terrified of this shot here, but it really looks a lot worse than it is. I guarantee you, if you don't have a really warpy, whatever GoPro that this is, that there's actually a considerable gap between these two people. And so it's not that big of a deal. Now, I've taken shots very similar to this, where again, I think this was at Iowa State last year. The ROs are sitting beyond the 180-degree mark, and there are targets between, 165 and 175 degrees. You just point the gun at the target and you pull the trigger, right? Now, I know that this has caused a bit of a stir because people are upset, I guess. Here's one where, you have your photographer beyond the 180 line and he's taking photos of people while they're shooting. And I don't think this is dangerous at all. When I used to have cameramen or people film me, we would do things that would technically break the 180 line. But if everyone is competent and understanding of what they're doing, it's not unsafe at all. If you look at anyone's videos, whether it's Micah Mayfield, Garand Thumb, anybody who uses a cameraman, there are absolutely times when they're quote unquote in front of the firing line, and it's not unsafe. No one almost ever gets hurt. guns do have an inherent level of danger just in general by the fact that they're firearms and there's controlled explosions. And if you're not willing to handle that risk, then yeah, stay home. Don't go to competitions. Don't shoot with your bros. Don't do any movement drills at all. You know, if that's your level of safety that you personally require, just don't ever get out. You know, just stay in your little zone. You'll be safe and you'll be happy there. Now, let me go ahead and refresh, because there are some people here that are adamantly upset that somebody would consider this to be a fine or safe or fine shot. So believe it or not, this is a very safe shot. In my personal opinion, this is fine. If I were these people, I would move, right? I wouldn't want to be the people in the background. I would just move to where everybody else is. There's a reason why you don't hang out right next to the berms that people are shooting into, right? Just makes sense. Why not make everyone stand in a line behind the shooter and make the limit 320 instead of 180? That's funny, right? And there are some stages like at Area 3 last year where there was a 270-degree stage, but the way that it was shot was there's like only one little opening to the berm. So once you're inside the berm and once the RO is in there with you, there's almost no way to point a gun at someone. So it's like there are ways to do, 270, 360 stages, even theoretically, and have it to be safe for everyone. Let's see. It's safer standing where those people are at a USPSA IDP match than behind the firing line at your local public range. Also very true. I mean, again, I've seen way, way worse unsafe scenarios at like, a backyard party or a public range or anything else than in a controlled USPSA environment. Stackable Olive here has a very hot take, I suppose. I think you might be retarded. Squib load followed by a tap rack and fire again, ricochet, butterfingers, target misidentification, optic malfunctions, plenty of ways bullets go where they weren't intended to. Yep. And that's just always forever, no matter whether you're at a USPSA match or not. And it's like, again, if in any part of life, if you point a gun at someone, expect consequences. But that's not what's going on here. This to me is fine. It's a controlled environment with, competitors. And again, if you're somebody who's like, I'm not comfortable taking this shot, I feel unsafe. You know what you should do? You should stop and just not take the shot. All right. You don't feel comfortable. You're scared. Don't shoot, because I'm scared of you shooting now because you're uncomfortable with a shot like this, right? It's basically a self-report. Yeah, all of those scenarios, and the RO is making sure you're doing it safely. Another very cogent point by Oxark here is that you do have an RO literally right next to you, basically right next to you the entire time. If he sees you do something unsafe, he stops you immediately, right? And now I know people are like, oh, you wouldn't want to do this. Oh, this is scary or whatnot. The only time I've ever had a gun pointed at me at USPSA was when a guy jumped off of a prop. It was like a log, that you had to shoot on. And instead of just, unloading and showing clear after the stage, he literally just did a 180 in his hands and directly pointed back at all of us. And that was quite nice. And he got DQ'd for that, of course. But again, that had nothing to do with targets. That's just, yes, at any point in time, guns are scary, guns are dangerous, blah, blah, blah. If you point a gun at someone, if you do something that's safe, there are consequences. In USPSA, you get DQ'd. In real life, somewhere else, maybe somebody points a gun back at you, right? All right. Jared Smith says over 50% of people shooting these matches have lots of nerves and not a massive amount of experience. No, definitely not a safe shot as an average. I don't know, Richard, am I crazy? Like when I look at this shot here, if I were able to make this ideal, I would just move those people off the berm. But there's nothing inherently unsafe. And this might even be, depending on the angles, they might actually be behind like 10 feet of the berm over here. And so even like a perfect like right angle ricochet wouldn't even be able to hit them possibly, right? Depending on the angle. So this is like sub-ideal, I would say, right? I think most people would agree that this is not the ideal shot, but this to me is not a problem. I would take the shot, no problem at all.
Yeah, I think the pucker factor here is definitely on the individual standing that close.
Mm-hmm. Well, and remember that is also on the ROs. Like if I was the one calling this person and I know he's about to take the shot, before I give him the go signal, I would just be like, hey, you guys, he's about to shoot like right there. Like, I don't know if you've seen the footage, but there's a guy, I think he was shooting a deagle, And there was another shot essentially right exactly like this, where it's like 170, 175, basically in terms of the angle. And there were people like riding on the 180 line, like 1 foot behind him. So he was essentially like shooting past people's faces without breaking the 180 line. And again, if you're the RO, your job is to be like, get out of the shooting area. You should not be here, right? You should not be that close. So that's partially on the RO. The shooter didn't break any rules, right? Because he was just engaging a target that was open, not breaking the 180. But people were like crowding him and getting really close to him. So if you had like 20 guys standing on the 180 line right here, it's like, yeah, just get out of there. You don't need to be standing there. Move. Right. And again, like this shot arrangement is not uncommon. Like at a major match, you might have 2 ROs riding your 180 on your left and right, and there are going to be targets that are going to be close 170, 165, whatever it might be. It's not that complicated.
Part of the issue with the other scenario there may be the comments, the people in the comments specifically. How many of them realize that it's USPSA and the target is in fact the little cardboard thing on the side and not the thing that actually looks like a target to most people?
Oh, if you get a barrel confused with a paper target, you're retarded and I'm scared to be around you.
This is Twitter.
Well, I mean, maybe for Twitter folks, but like, again, for this guy who's running some wacky open gun and I see a target like this, like, I'm not scared of these guys taking a shot. Now, if it was like, I don't know, a 45-year-old Foyd and she had literally never shot before and she was trembling and she was like tripping and she was just like waving the gun around, yeah, my concern would be a lot higher. But again, for at least in my area, the people that I shoot with, like, this is not an uncomfortable shot. People shoot at, relatively kind of high angles, whatever you want to say. Just don't stand next to the berm when they're shooting. And again, this is an RO problem. If a local RO saw that, he would just ask them to move. It's like, hey, by the way, he's about to start shooting over there. You don't want to stand there.
They appear to have gear on too, so it's like, it's not like they're just wandering around for the sake of it.
It looks like a little old lady wearing a belt. And again, not to be rude to them, because they probably have their gear staged over there, because sometimes people put gear like right next to a berm where people are shooting at. Dumb idea. But it looks to be like little old lady standing there with her husband. So not the best place to stand. And that's kind of on them. And the RO should have told them to move. In a perfectly ideal world, either than that, if I was shooting this stage, if I was the shooter, I would feel perfectly comfortable taking the shot. And again, if it was anybody that I know locally taking the shot, not a problem. Handsome Horse says, my concern is the people, is not the people, but the vehicle. Vintage Warfare says, yeah, but if he's in the parking lot, though, it's kind of an odd request. Hey, can you move out of the safe area while we shoot past the 180? Well, it's not that odd, because again, like, you can technically be in the safe area. Like, if I was 1 foot behind the shooter off to the right, standing on the 180 line, they're going to tell you to move. It's like, you should not be close. You're technically still in the shooting area behind the shooter, you're in the safe area behind the shooter. But the ROs will just like tell you to get out of the shooter's way. Like, he's going to be shooting right there, right? So, I mean, being asked to move in a USPSA match is not uncommon, right? It's like, hey guys, everybody take a step back. He's about to start shooting or something like that. That's very, very common. If some ROs will be like, yeah, if you're like 5 feet behind the shooter, they'll be like, hey, can you take a couple steps back? Hey, just do that. Right. So, I mean, to me, it's on the RO. It's also on the people not paying attention. They seem like an elderly couple, so maybe they're not quite aware of what situation they're in. But again, this is not even that much of a 180 line. It's more like 170, 175. So unless he swings the gun like 6 feet over and then pulls the trigger on them, like, this is not a sketchy location. Again, I think a lot of people are just scared of firearms, and that's fine if that's your level of safety that you're at. But if you've ever shot with large groups of people or ever done, movement drills or bounding drills or anything else like that, like, again, the main thing is to, if you have a rifle, have your safety on at all times. So point the gun at someone. And if you have a pistol, it's like, just keep it always pointed in a safe direction and not at someone, right? Finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Like, really simple safety things keep everyone from not dying, basically. Christian says, I'm DQing Weekend Gunner tomorrow night. That's base. Preemptive DQ. So true. Wait, what happened to Randy? Did Randy die? What is everybody talking about Randy for? Rocks out for Randy. Get well, Randy. Get well, Randy. What is happening to
I
Randy?
don't know. I just seen it.
Prayers for Randy, for real, for real. He got shot lately during his most recent match. That's a joke. That's it. He's lying. Okay. Lost Arrow is lying in chat. Okay. That's totally not true. Total falsities. But again, like this, like if you're a photographer, like we had a photographer at the North Dakota championship, and yeah, he would like sit behind the 180 line, technically safe. You're shooting like well past him, and he's watching you shoot, and he's comfortable with the shooters are there, and that happens. It's not unsafe. It's not wacky. If you are personally concerned, then you don't need to go. That's fine. It's out for Randy. Randy sucked my toes for Taco Bell last night. Well, given Randy's physique, that's actually not outside of the realm of possibility. Okay, but that's enough. That's enough about Safety Sam and people freaking out about generic things that happen at USPSA matches. All right, let's talk about Bendy Bill Geisley and the High Car program. Now, unfortunately, I was hoping when I saw this that this would be him answering all of the questions, but no. He's like, hey guys, you need to reach out to me and ask me all the questions so we can answer all your questions about our new High Car contract rifle or contract submission rifle, because I don't know if anyone's actually won the contract yet, or at least it hasn't been announced if anyone has won. So this is your opportunity and my opportunity as well to ask Bendy Bill Geisley any questions we may or may not have about the High Car or about the alleged sex tape between him and Marky Mark LaRue.
Velocity, improved capabilities, assault rifle. There. I said it. What a mouthful. This is SOCOM's new program to give our special operation warriors overmatched capabilities with our enemies. Geisley's at the forefront of this. You may have seen some videos out there as we go along with our development of our High Car rifle. We're trying to bring you along and show you what high-speed product development looks like. And right now, we're going to start a sub-series within the series so that the engineers have an opportunity to answer your questions about this. There's a ton of questions that comes up on the comments to our videos, and we want to give you an opportunity to put your comments down so the engineers can talk to you directly and talk to you about our rifle, the Geisley High Car.
So yes, this is your opportunity to ask him all of the pertinent questions. Again, not the alleged sex tape, although you could, because it would be funny to actually get him to address the allegations, the very serious allegations that have been swirling around online about him and his illicit affair. Allegedly, of course, the alleged affair that people have alleged. Was it just me, or did the barrel on this thing have a much longer extension into the upper? Progressive twist rifling, de la proof? Yes. When can I buy one? Great question. Will you sell me one eventually? Will standard on the market 5.56 suppressors take the pressure? Ooh, that's a good question, actually. I mean, they should, right? Unless it's just absolute nightmare garbage quality suppressors. Any normal 5.56 can that's like duty rated or whatever that even means should be able to handle the higher pressure ammo. That would be my guess, at least. Will these High Car rifles be able to fire rounds that are both hypervelocity and non-hypervelocity? Important question. ODG version, of course. Can you make a bad lever bolt release in your lowers? No. Standard, no. ICAR variant, da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyways, go in there and ask the real questions. These are too boring. These are too basic of questions. We need to know the real, we need answers to the real questions, okay? Like, what brand of socks does Bendy Bill Geisley wear? Okay. We need to know his thoughts on Uma Musume. Okay. Is he a Super Creek fan like Logan, or is he a Manhattan Cafe fan like Lost Arrow? These are the real questions that we need answers to. So if you wish to go and ask the pertinent questions, I'll drop the Instagram link for everyone over there, and you can ask him the real questions. Okay. Because I think that these are very pertinent when it comes to the High Car contract. Do we want the people manufacturing our rifles to be Super Creek fans? Like, really? Is that really what we want in America in 2026? I don't think so. Light Sports says Gold Chip is on top of them both. That sounds like that would get Logan a little too excited. Ask him the breakfast question, also very important. Yes. Is he a toes man? We could ask. Again, there's many important questions that simply aren't being asked in the Geisley comment section right now, and I feel like it is our duty to improve the situation over there. So please please go over there and ask Bendy Bill Geisley the real hard-hitting questions that other quote-unquote industry journalists are too afraid to ask. True, you could ask him his thoughts on Big Toe Money. Many, many things. All right, anyways. Hopefully we'll get a quick update on that in the future. But now let's go over and let's talk about something else that is fantastic. All right, we have GWatt Alchemist, and we used to have a guy in the chat named GTwat Alchemist, which was very funny, like little spoof account on there. He was very, very upset with us the other day, or specifically more with Risky and with Charlie Cox. He took much insult to the Cockman's takes about GWatt, and his very serious by the way takes about, you know, like GWatt gear, what to do in the apocalypse, all that sort of stuff. And he felt the need to respond in a visceral way, right? Now, if you're not familiar with GWatt Alchemist, I think he used to be in one of our Discords, one of our older ones. He's like, you know, a GWatt channel. He makes content, you could say, right? That is a word that one could use to describe the excretions from this man's channel. 2 hours ago, how not to be a fago. That's very funny. I'll post this again if you take it down. GWatt fishes. It does dry fire or it gets the hose again. SPR dry fire. A creation story. A wizard explains everything. Realistic prepping. Context matters. Like, I mean, you know, it's interesting, okay? It's a wide selection of content. It's not schizo posting. Absolutely not. Oh, hey, he just posted the screenshot from this. You got to post a link too, bro, okay? Got to post the link. You can't just post the screenshot. Post the link to your followers so that they can be here, bro. He is very upset at YouTube, which I understand, of course. YouTube is the big gay, as he says repeatedly, because I believe they took down his first video going after Charlie and Risky, and you know, maybe it's because of the choice language or something like that. Yeah, Charlie Cox removed at 911 views. 911 mentioned. That's actually terrible. But anyway, so he's doing a little bit of a crash out. He's got some videos going, but I did save the video, GWatt. So do not worry. If YouTube takes it down, it will forever live on in infamy in this stream, at least, and on my hard drive. What's his opinion on Tower 7? That's actually very important. Tower 7 is perhaps the most important question we could be asking him. All right, let's see.
Hello, boys and girls of the internet. I'm coming to you this morning, shirtless and uncaffeinated.
Also, what is up with like the,
I don't know,
the mud shark tattoos? Sing your death song? Is that what that says? But the G is like really out of place. Like the Marine tattoo, I get it, right? You're a Marine, you want to, you know, get that tattooed on you. It's a significant part of your life. That makes sense.
But the ink, though.
That ink is awful. Like the spacing is off. The letters, like the height is all wrong. Ugh. Like, I mean, of all of the things to show off, I don't know about that one.
Hello, boys and girls of the internet. I'm coming to you this morning.
Sorry to keep pausing. Also a good question. Like,
that's what I thought you were originally going to say about.
Well,
yeah.
Sorry, I was distracted by the tattoos. I missed the lights. Yeah, what is going on with the lights? We got purple and blue. All right. It looks like the Artho emo e-girl lighting a little bit, and we got the mud shark tattoos.
Shirtless and uncaffeinated, to probably make a video that pisses everybody off. I just watched this fucking 25 or whatever minute clip video, not even all of it, half of it, from Focus.
Oh, you didn't even watch the full thing, bro. Come on. It's 25 minutes long, 2x speed. Take it 12 minutes, bro. You'll be good. Vintage Warfare says, bro, looks like he's been up for 24 hours. I mean, I don't know anything about the guy. I hope he's doing quite well. If I had to guess, he's like, he plays it up a little bit, right? He's being a little bit of a character. So he's going a little bit over top here. But I mean, I think in the last video he posted, he's got, like a wife and kids, and that's all well and good. So, I mean, he could just be sleep deprived from, normal work and family man things.
His streams live he did with Risky Krisky and Charlie Cox. And in that video clip, Charlie Cox is talking. They're talking about their fucking super realistic prepper plans and gear. And
now, maybe he just doesn't know anything about Charlie Cox, and that's fine. But if you aren't aware, Charlie Cox is not the most serious man in the world. So when he's talking about, the real end of the world setups and, your plan for the apocalypse, and Charlie is nonstop cracking jokes, like just repeatedly over and over again, it really went over this guy's head and the head of his community. And so they're going to take every word that Charlie Cox says literally in that podcast, which you can go over and find on Risky Krisky, 69420. But if you take Charlie Cox seriously, like, you're a bit of a retard. Now, maybe you just don't know, right? But there are a couple hints in this live stream that maybe Charlie Cox is not being 100% serious.
Make a quick video talking about mindset and how you
Do
have
you
that.
have to use flesh mags or no?
I'm
No,
going to kill
you
myself
don't.
the next time you talk.
Unless, yeah. So maybe there's like there are a couple of hints in the stream if you watch it that Charlie is not entirely serious all the time. The way he talks about doing stolen valor on purpose because he thinks it's funny, just the whole demeanor, the way that he engages with a lot of things. Sometimes it's very difficult for me to tell, when he stone-faced tells you that the next time you speak, he's going to kill himself, right? It's not like he's not, spoiler alert there, he's not actually being real when he says that. So when he jokes again continuously later on, also not that real. Sorry to break it to you.
Charlie Cox is saying that rucking and purifying water is gay because his wife can't do it. So there's no need for him to do it.
Great screenshot, by the way. That, again, I don't know if this is just a character and it's to be mad about something, but what Charlie was even in that joking way talking about is like, yeah, I can ruck places. I can do all this stuff, but my wife can't. So why would I leave my wife, right? So when we're talking about apocalypse scenarios, it's all make-believe and fantasy, and there's nothing wrong with being prepared. Everybody should be prepared, depending on their locale, personal skills, family status, community status, like all of these other things. Like, you need to prepare, and it's going to look different for different people, of course. But if you're like, no, you got to be ready to ruck 20 miles at a moment's notice because you never know when you got to move and save your country. It's like, well, that's great to have that capability, but it's like you can't just leave behind your wife and kids, right? And that was kind of Charlie's point, is like, yeah, no, rucking and hiking, which I love. I love the tactical rucking guys. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? But there are some people that are completely buck broken by the military rucking thing, where they don't know why they're rucking, they don't know where they're rucking, but they know that they used to do that in the military, so that they just have to continue to do it. It's like their mind is broken, right? They can't like conceptualize the idea of just a normal hike or like, just normal human activities because of their time in the military. And again, there's nothing wrong with rucking. Spoiler alert, it's just cardio with weights. Like it's not that special, right? But again, being like, hey, being able to ruck 20 miles with gear on, kit on, like that's all well and good and great. But if it's some sort of end of the world apocalypse scenario, what am I doing abandoning my wife and kids again? What's up? Why would that? And I think it is. I think it is Stockholm syndrome and trauma when it comes to a lot of military bros. Some people maybe unironically like it, but it probably does have some Stockholm syndrome like effects on it. Basically, like, where are you rucking to? No idea. Why are you rucking? No idea. But I did it for a long time and I hated it, so I have to continue to do it over and over again. Okay, they're just repeating their own trauma. They're repeating the cycle of abuse.
And talking about how he's going to kill all of his neighbors and friends in SHTF or whatever. He's going to stand in his window and shoot at people, and then anybody that came to him for help when food gets low, he's just going to have to kill them.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can go look at the full podcast. It's like 2 hours long. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. Really, it's just the back half of it where we even talk about anything like that. The first hour is just competition jargon nonsense. But again, Charlie's like joking. Charlie's like, oh yeah, dude, when the apocalypse starts, I'm just going to post up in my window and start killing my neighbors. It's like, unless you legitimately think Charlie Cox is a psychopath, which maybe you do, right? Because you don't know him at all. But these are funny jokes. You know, these in context, he's giving you like the most hyperbolic, worst advice imaginable, which in this context is funny, right? Because Risky's trying to be serious. He's trying to be like, oh, what do you do here? What about this? What about that? And Charlie's like, oh yeah, dude, you know, when we start running out of food, I'm just gonna have to start eating my neighbors. You know, that's my serious plan for the apocalypse. You know, and everybody else is trying to be cogent, and Charlie's like just making fun of it all because that's what Charlie does. It's funny. It's fine. But if it goes over your head, like I think I commented something on his original video, like you have to be this smart to ride the ride. And either he's just not aware of Charlie, or it goes over his head, or maybe a little bit of option A and option B. And on top of that, maybe he's just playing it up and he's pretending to not understand humor, sarcasm, possibly. Sean says, I feel like understanding sarcasm is a sign of intelligence. Yes. Exactly, yes. No, in real life, I'm going to kill you and wear your skin like a suit.
I had to make a video on it, man. I mean,
Again, sorry to keep interrupting. Blackheart Defense says, I mean, rucking is good for you. Builds an aerobic base, builds leg strength, and gets your steps in. Yeah, it's just cardio. It's just weighted cardio. Now, you can do a cost-benefit analysis of like how much wear and tear do you want to put on your back and knees while doing cardio versus like a more low-impact version of cardio. Because you got to remember, when you're 21 and rucking in the military because you're forced to, that's well and good. You know, your knees are in good shape, your back's in good shape. But if you're 35 to 40 and you're running out of cartilage and your lower back aches every day, it's like maybe we need to switch some of that high impact cardio for low impact cardio. You know, just we got to have some self-preservation, some, you know, endurance or long duration, right? We got to be able to work out and do cardio for a long period of time, not just drive ourselves needlessly into the dirt. And that's, again, it's not saying that rucking entirely is bad. Rucking is good. It's just, but again, it's just when you break it down, it's just weighted cardio. That's all it is. It's not special.
Who fucking kids out there trying to figure your shit out, you really need to consider the source where this information is coming from. First of all, who the fuck are you, Charlie Cox? Who the fuck are you? You fucking videotaped Grand Thumb, some Air Force faggot ass instructor that never even deployed. And then you were his fucking cameraman on fucking the YouTube. And so now you get to fucking come up here and tell everybody what's realistic prepping. Oh,
I think he's being serious though. I don't think that this is a double envelopment, so to speak. I don't think he's faking it. I think GWAD is being serious, that he thinks Charlie was being 100% serious in everything that he said. And so he took a lot of offense to what are meaningless jokes, because if you asked Charlie, I would imagine, okay, he'd probably have a funnier response than I would. But if you ask Charlie, like, oh, what sort of pedigree do you have to talk about survival? He'd be like, oh yeah, I had 12 deployments to Waffle House at 2:00 in the morning, or something like that, something along those lines. I don't think Charlie takes his own opinion on this stuff particularly serious, right? And it's obvious when he's doing it in a joking manner. But GWAD is like, no, dude, he thinks he's a subject matter expert. What sort of pedigree does he have? He never deployed like I did, you know, or something like that.
so much fucking experience, Charlie Cox. Let us know. So what barrel length are you gonna execute your friends with, Charlie?
Sir, it was a joke. That is a good crash out, though. I do like that. You know, I like high energy in the morning. Could you imagine if he did have caffeine, how much more energy we could have gotten?
Let us know. So what barrel length are you gonna execute your friends with, Charlie? One barrel length. So,
have you guys ever seen a girl go through like all the emotional phases in like 20 seconds? You know, it's kind of like a child will go from laughing to crying to screaming to giggling back to normal in like a 30-second time frame. And that's kind of what we just got here. And again, it's all premised off of taking Charlie Cox seriously. It's like taking Shane Gillis seriously. You could do it. You could do that, but it wouldn't be particularly wise for you. It would seem like a waste of time. That is a good clip. I do agree.
It's Charlie Cox. Let us know. What barrel length are you going to execute your friends with, Charlie? One barrel length! So, I don't even know what to fucking say, man. This shit is just fucking crazy. Like,
maybe he was just too tired. He didn't get enough sleep. He didn't get enough caffeine. And so he just misinterpreted the whole clip. Because I put up a clip on the Focus Clips channel. So you can just go watch the clip. If you don't want to watch the full thing, you should go watch the full thing because that's where the clip is from. But I mean, maybe he just didn't get enough sleep. He was tired. He was, doing whatever it is that he does. He watches a video half awake and he interprets Charlie Cox as like the most serious man ever.
Holy fuck. Focus Trip gossips all day and fucking does gun reviews. Risky Krisky is the only motherfucker that even...
See, I'm always confused because it's like Focus Trip just gossips all day, which is like, I'll just grant it to you for the sake of argument. But if you're going to call what I do gossip, like, what is this video? The biggest problem with this situation is not the screaming at the camera and the misinterpreting Charlie Cox. It's really the hypocrisy. It's like, I mean, you can call what I do gossip, whatever.
Can fucking speak on the whole fucking panel from any level of experience and knowledge about what's realistic. And that motherfucker is the fucking bottom entry level. He was an 11 Bravo for one enlistment.
Oh, sorry. Is he talking about Krisky now? Is that where we're moving on from?
Fucking panel from any level of experience. Risky Krisky is the only motherfucker that even can fucking speak on the whole fucking panel from any level of experience and knowledge about what's realistic. And that motherfucker is the fucking bottom entry level.
Now, I don't know about his service. I don't care about service or anything else like that. I will say though, if you look at the stream, it was competitive shooting, which was why me and Charlie Cox were on here to talk about competitive shooting. And we talked about competitive shooting for about an hour and 15 minutes. And then the last 30 minutes is about, SHTF, where we all just like opine on our thoughts on the perspective end of the world, so to speak. And that's really all it is. Now, you could say Krisky has the most real world experience as an 11 Bravo. I believe he's also currently EMT fire. He's done like actual rescue and helping operations during natural disasters and whatnot. So, I mean, Risky has like experience doing the thing, so to speak. I don't know how much experience GWAD Alchemist does. I know that he likes rucking and taking his shirt off, but other than that, I'm not sure what your pedigree is or what that really has anything to do with anything at this point.
He was an 11 Bravo for one enlistment. I don't know what his fucking deployments exactly were, but he said they weren't fucking anything crazy. And then he's like an EMT or some shit, and so he makes YouTube videos. Think about who the fuck you're getting information from.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I wanted somebody's take on like disaster relief or, bad situations, an EMT and 11 Bravo and somebody who helps with disaster relief would be somebody that I would like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What happens when things really do go bad? How do you help people? How do you be a good member of your community? Like being an EMT, like you deal with the worst of the worst, right? Whether it's crime scenes or accidents or disputes or whatever else it might be, like these people really do put in a lot of work for the people that deserve it the least, right? So, I mean, that is some level of pedigree. That is some level of, care for your fellow man, which is, a good quality to have at the least.
For what it's worth, a friend of mine was...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
For what it's worth, a friend of mine was a police officer for a while, and he transferred over and became an EMT for 6 months. And he said that he couldn't do it anymore. He went back to being a cop.
Oh, yeah.
He said
it seems simpler, right?
On him. He couldn't carry, couldn't defend himself in certain situations. And day in and day out, he had to deal with not being able to save people, and that really, really strained his relationship with his family, and it was not good. But he recognized it, and he got out. So, props to you, bud.
Yeah. Lava Dog says combat is not mutually exclusive to prepping and vice versa. Yeah, I mean there was a really weird period online where people were like, "Oh, you killed brown people, like room temp IQ brown people in the Middle East. I now respect your opinion on like, I don't know, the collapse of the Roman Empire circa 2026." It's like maybe those two things don't have that much in common. Like, all right, thank you for your cervix, but thank you.
From this doesn't mean you have to be fucking CAG. I'm not CAG. It doesn't mean you have to be Navy SEAL. It doesn't even mean you have to necessarily have military service. But if you're gonna fucking talk about what's realistic fucking prepping, you should maybe have at least really been in a situation where you needed fucking preparedness once or twice in your life, perhaps.
Like risky. And again, if you're taking Charlie Cox, end of the world advice seriously, that's on you, bro. Very funny, but that's on you, bro. And Risky has actually been there and done some of the things. I haven't. I shoot guns. Like, that's pretty simple. I talk about people shooting guns and I shoot guns myself. Pretty simple.
Also, my wife can't ruck, so I'm not going to ruck. Hey, fucking genius. The whole fucking point of being a man is to do the shit that your woman can't do.
My woman can't ruck, so therefore I will ruck to leave her. That is very GWAT coded, actually. Yes. Divorce number 2 incoming. Okay, I can smell it. I can sniff it through the screen right here. Actually, this might be divorce number 3. You never know, bro. But the point being, Charlie was making in a joking way is like, yeah, of course I can ruck and do things. My wife cannot, and I'm not just leaving her behind because she's my wife, I mean, maybe abandoning your wives is something that you're into. I don't know. Okay, I'm not saying anything against you personally. I'm just, there's happens to be a pattern here. Okay, that's all.
So that when she is fucking weak and feeble, the women and children need help, you can go do the fucking things to help them. Are you a literal faggot? You fucking feminist, equality, fucking pussy bitch, soft hands, anything?
Dude, that is Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox is a well-known male feminist. The prolific male feminist Charlie Cox, for sure. Again, you talk about where do you get your information from and having people be knowledgeable of the topics that they're talking about. Ironically, GWAT Alchemist is the least knowledgeable on like who these people actually are. So you can, infer from their jokes what you believe about them, but you're just coming up. It's just looking really bad on you. That's all. Just looking really bad on you.
My wife can't do, I can't do. My wife can't fight, I can't fight. My wife can't work 80 hours, so we have to be homeless. My wife can't lift the heavy weights, so I quit my gym membership. My wife can't hold anything heavier than a 22, so that's all I have is 22s. Since when the fuck is your wife being able to do something the bar of whether you should fucking do that thing or not as a man?
Again, all of that stuff that he went on a rant there, he just made up. It came to him in a dream. He believed... that's what Charlie meant, not about abandoning your wife. Probably shouldn't do that in an end of the world scenario, right? And then he just went on this tirade about, yeah, you got to be strong. You got to be a man. You got to do the things your wife can't do. Rah, roo. So ruck 20 miles away from her and the end of the world. Let's go. Rah. Milspec Max says he's so close, but so far. Yeah, I know it's the context, right? If he was just talking about, yeah, you have to be willing to do the hard things that your family can't, that your woman can't, that your children can't, because you are the man. You have to sacrifice for your family. You have to do the hard things to protect them. Yeah, based, all true. However, in the context of the comment that Charlie made that he misinterpreted, it just looks so bad, right? Lava Dog says, damn, and I thought I was brainwashed about my time in. It's all right.
What in the literal fuck is even fucking going on?
Dude, I don't even know, bro. That's the best part. Maybe he's just talking to himself at that point. That was good. That's a good line too. That's another good clip, honestly.
Being able to do something, the bar of whether you should fucking do that thing or not as a man. What in the literal fuck is even fucking going on? Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Fuck.
All right. It was the whole video. What a way to sign off, bro. That was crazy. All because you can't understand that Charlie Cox is joking. That is wild. That is a wild move. So again, just because I think it's funny, we'll see how serious Charlie Cox was during this whole discussion.
Video talking about mindset and how you
Do
have
you
to
have to use flush mags or no?
I'm
No,
gonna
no,
kill
you
myself
don't.
the next time you talk.
Unless you,
That's cool.
yeah, that is exactly how serious Charlie Cox was during that conversation the entire time. I don't know if Charlie and Nomad know each other. I don't think they do at all. And I think Charlie just decided for this stream to be mean to Nomad for no reason, just for the laughs. And it was quite enjoyable as someone who was not on the receiving end of all of that. Very funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on from there. I don't think there's anything else of interest. But again, just to be aware, okay, GWatt, Alchemist, I have the video. So if YouTube takes it down again, I got it, bro. Keep lifting weights in your backyard. I don't want to play that video. He has his kids in it, or just kids that are in the background. I'm not going to do that. But best of luck to you, sir. If you want to come on and discuss it sometime, I'd be more than happy to, because I'm sure the clips that it would generate would be absolutely hilarious in one way or the other. All right. Well, we're 50 minutes in. Let's talk about, or let's get to some of your guys' support. And then we're talking about tactical horsing around. Okay, tactical horses coming your way and coming hot. No, that's not right. We'll just get into the tactical horses, okay? Because I know Logan is brimming with excitement that we get to talk about tactical horses in 2026. Now, at first glance, this might seem to be ridiculous to you, the idea of offering tactical training on horseback. However, I would like you to keep in mind that we do have some law enforcement agencies that are still utilizing horses, whether it be just normal cops in certain locales, or whether it be Border Patrol or some of these other people. There are times in which horses are still deployed, and we have people using horses in the line of duty. So it's not entirely as egregious as it might seem on first glance. So Horse Soldier Tactical, Avery, Texas, October 1st through 4th. Tactical horsemanship level 1. That's right. We need to be tactical horses. If you go to their actual Instagram page here, they have a bunch of different posts and a bunch of different stuff about their horse training and the other stuff, which again, I do find quite funny. This man does look like someone who would offer you tactical horse training advice, like uninitiated. He would just step up and be like, oh yeah, hey, you want to learn how to shoot guns and move and carry all this stuff while on horseback, sonny? I got a ranch out back. I could show you a thing or two. It just seems like a nice, and this is like very wholesome. Like I might be poking a little bit of fun here and there, but this is kind of cool. You know, one, it's got the Western vibes to it. It might be really practical depending on where you live. Like if you have a huge amount of, you know, like Montana or wherever else it might be, Texas, if you just have huge swaths of public land without an easy way to get a vehicle from point A to point B, maybe having your tactical horse with some tactical horse training is pretty cool, okay? And honestly, it's not that expensive either. Like $400 for a tactical horse class, and you can rent a horse for $300 extra. That's not that bad. I would do this for fun, right? It's like you got to go ride some horses. You got to go learn some, I don't know, tactical horseback shooting or some other fun stuff. Like it could be a good time. And your instructor looks like he's right at home, bro. So I might actually have to sign up for something like this. So let's see. Yesterday's skills in today's world. So mounted theory, tactical horsemanship level 1. It's like shooting from horseback, okay? For those of you who might have some Mongolian or steppe descent, you can really channel your forefathers here, you know, shooting weapons from the back of horses. Horse rentals, all sorts. Don't get too excited with the horse rentals, okay, Logan? They're not the same type of horses that you're thinking about. I wonder if they have a video. They got to have like some marketing material somewhere. Do land nav, but on horses, mounted theory, tactical pack course. Oh, that's cool. I got rockets on the back of that one. Horsemanship level 2. What does a horsemanship level 2 teach? Sold out, of course. This advanced course is built for experienced horsemen ready to operate in austere terrain with tactical precision. Over 5 immersive days. Dude, 5 days for $500? That is so cheap. Like for a training class, $500 for 5 days is so cheap. Students master mounted movement, terrain exploitation, gear discipline, and dismounted battle drills. Okay, so it's moving from point to point. Cool, cool. Culminating in night operations under NVGs and a full-scale raid. That's pretty based. That would be fun. Okay, this is a mixture of tactical tourism, right? Where you take like an experience training class where the training itself is not all that useful in reality, but you do it because it's fun or it's cool. And I think doing a night vision raid on horseback, hitting the objective with your bros, like that could be a really fun time. All right. Execute missions that demand coordination, stealth, and grit. If you're ready to move fast, fight light, and lead under pressure, this course delivers the edge. Careful, Logan. NVGs are required for this course. And again, like $800 if you have to rent a horse, which most of you probably will if you're not bringing your own horse, right? $800 for 5 days of horsing around with the bros. Are horse nods a thing? I mean, yeah, why not, bro? Although I do have to say, okay, in 2026, like let's think about it. If you're heading up against a near peer force, right, and you're hitting an objective with your night vision goggles, a horse is a rather large thermal signature. So I feel like stealth is kind of out the window, you know? I feel like stealth is just like, we're just not doing that right now. It's not really possible, you know?
It is thermal camouflage though, because it looks nothing like a human.
Well, but I still think one, it would just be very obvious to spot, and then it's like, why does the horse have two heads? Because of
why
course,
is
you know,
that guy doing that to a horse? Logan, stop!
What is going on over there? Why is he behind it? Why is he underneath it? No, we have another Enumclaw situation. Yeah, could shoot dragoons. Yes, of course. The human on the horse looks like a human. Yeah, that's the problem, of course. But no, I mean, it's kind of cool. Let me see, actually. Do they have any other... Do they have a YouTube channel? I want to see if they have a YouTube video. Come on. They got to have something, right? Do they have any videos of them doing stuff on the horses? That could be cool. No, guy giving you the peace sign. Okay. There's a guy shooting. Got to be careful with that one, though. Yep. So what is like a... Oh, he does have a... What horse? Oh, he does have videos. Excellent. We can go check that out. Let me pull that up. Horse Soldier Training and Consulting LLC. Horse Training and Consulting LLC. Let's go. Centaurs are invading. Good point. So, all right. They got a couple hundred subscribers. Not too bad. Come ride with me. Let's see. Maybe this guy's really chill. No audio? Okay. Still no audio. I bet he used copyrighted music, and then he had to mute it, or they muted it for him. Yep, you got your horse, got your saddle. Are we gonna do any talking, or any? Is it? There we go. There's some audio. Got some cows. We got an Aero Precision with a Sig Romeo 5. A Sandman on the end. Although I do have to say, okay, shooting on horseback, while fun, at distance, like trying to take shots at 100 or 200 yards off of a horse, probably not great time. Probably not a great time. That's true. Actually, the horse is always beyond the line of fire, no matter which way you're looking. So this would be banned in a USPSA stage. True. You can't have a horse USPSA stage. But what is he just riding around on horseback? I mean, listen, if the whole course is just riding around on horseback for a couple of days with your bros, like that's fine. That's fun. Chips for Chimp says, can you mount a tripod on the horse? Bro, you could probably work it out. You could probably figure it out. I hope it doesn't hurt the horse's ears. Well, he's got a suppressor on there. And I mean, horses have been used in battle for what? 3,000 years? 4,000 years? 5,000 years? Like, I think they'll be okay with loud noises. Okay, slow motion shooting into dirt. Very nice. All right. I mean, okay, maybe it is a little bit silly, but still, you could have a fun time hanging with the bros, shooting from horseback, Brokeback Mountain style. Okay, some of you might be a little too excited, either for the bros or for the horses. Vintage Warfare says, I need a face lightning mount for his head. I'll forego his bit and roll with it if they let me. That was a Womp Rat. Oh, of course. Horse technical inbound. I mean, what was it? Was it Black Ops 3 that had the horse mission? Was it Black Ops 2 that had the horse mission? I think maybe it was Black Ops 2 that had the horse mission, where you're riding on top of the horses into battle. All right. Well, before we get to the ATF coming back and trying to do things to you unconsensually, we have a new video by Tom Grieve saying ATF is pissed. They are planning to come after you, which is alleging that people are going to try to, or the ATF, once there is a change in the political power, they will attempt to come after people who have transferred suppressors on 4473. And I know there's at least a couple of you guys sitting in the chat as we speak. All right. Boogie with Down Syndrome for 5 says, I just got home after 13 hours straight in the Texas heat. Entertain me, Jester. Well, your wish is my command. Thank you, Boogie with Down Syndrome. Yeah, a lot of time in the sun today. Matthew S for 67 joules says 6'7". Thank you, sir. Logan Sucks at Shooting for 2 says, horsing around, no. Uma-ing around, yes. What are you doing with the Umas, Logan? Super Creek was not built to ride like that. Chudge Holden for 2 says, Richard Chad Gassy. All right, fair enough. Thank you, Chudge. Lost Arrow for $20 says, Bazinga, Baba Booey even. Baba Booey.
I am a pregnant woman. Taser.
Still one of the greatest clips of all time. Thank you very much, Lost Arrow. Very based of you. Thank you for repatriating your paycheck to my paycheck. CM Scar for 2. Fire intro. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that, good sir. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Lightspore for 2 says, bottoms out like GWAT Alchemist. I wish him nothing but the best, good sir. King Callus for 5 says, Friday's VOD got nuked. Can I buy a link to the Symphony No. 9 song it had? Or maybe a YouTube upload. Anyways, we'll catch the VOD. Christ is King. Free Dugan. Good night. My nigga. All right. Yeah, I think I have that song somewhere downloaded, so I should be able just to send that to you. Thank you very much, King Callus. Appreciate that, sir. Sam Wick for 5. Jules says treat. Thank you. Tactical Lightspore. The Lightspore for 2 says Hawkeye Sling comes with pre-filled police report. Aww. So annoying. Sealhammer for 234 says, I'm wound up because that's a 180 trap. Well, people always call it a 180 trap, and I actually don't think that is, because like if you have to just draw to a target on the right side of your, stage or whatnot, like that happens all the time where you just have to shoot a target that's on the left or the right. I don't necessarily think that's a 180 trap, unless you're like moving into position or there's a possibility of like as you're transitioning from one target to the next or moving that it opens you up to 180. Like this to me, which I believe is the very first shot of the stage, is like, we'll just draw and point the gun directly at that target. Right. There's no movement, no swinging, no like, possibility really of pointing the gun somewhere that it shouldn't, basically. So I don't think it's a technical 180 trap. Thank you, Sealhammer. Lightspore for 2 says prayers for our boy Randy. That's true, after he just shot himself. Thank you, Lightspore. Central Sands Defense for 2 says GWAT ended over a decade ago. No one cares. I mean, some people, whether it be through trauma or through experiences or through the camaraderie that they had during their time in the military, like that is kind of where they peaked. It used to be people peaked in high school, and that was where they lived the rest of their life, was like senior year of high school. And now it's GWAT for a lot of people. That was the best time of their life, whether it was actually the best or the worst, but it's like the most impactful, and that's where they live every day. Lightsport for 2 says he clearly got buck broke a lot in the Marines. Ouch. Andy Ray for 2 says, dang, that's some hop level yelling. It's a good clip. We'll get that clipped up. Thank you, Andy Ray. Zanico for 2 says, let me see your purple heart, darling. I really want to see it. Yeah, that was not a service related injury. Thank you, Zanico, falling through the bunk beds like that. Bowslinger for 2 says, crash out straight from Full Metal Jacket. I got a little bit of those vibes for sure. Thank you, Boslinger. Logan Sucks at Shooting for Two says, I'd go with a nice average barrel length of 1.5 inches. Well, I don't think 1.5 inches of barrel is going to be appropriate for Super Creek. My apologies, Logan. Andy Ray for 2 says he's definitely doing USPSA Stolen Valor, which is the only type of Stolen Valor that actually matters. Thank you, Andy Ray. Andy Ray for another 5 says, I feel like he has stole a Glock off a lady of the night in Colorado. I stole this lady from a hooker in Colorado, but I knew it was hot, so she didn't come after it. Rah. Bite your ear off, son. Mitzvot for 5 says, hey, Unc, do you remember 9/11? That's the means by determining if you're a millennial or not, which is why I'm Gen C, because I don't remember experiencing it. That's true. Just missed the cutoff for you. Cryptid Easy for 5 says, I want to chime in on this, but 225 letters for $20 isn't cutting it. Maybe I'm too serious when it's just quote unquote jokes. Well, Kryptonite Easy, if you want, a near infinite amount of text, just go over to Ko-Fi and you can drop like $3 and have a way longer sentence. So don't waste money on YouTube for that. But yeah, if you have a different alternative take, I would love to hear it. Zanico for 5 says, Richard, tactical focus, please. Oh, the tactical focus. Thank you. Thank you, Zanico. All right, let's see. Handsome Horse. Well, speaking of handsome horses, for $20 says, ahoy, Captain. Bless us with some shanty big toe money, if you please. And God bless Free Dugan. Christ is king. Christ is king. Let me pull that up for you, good sir. Richard, entertain the chat for a moment.
Oh man, I'm trying to pull up tactical focus trip right now.
Well, you just talk while I'm doing the searching. That's all. You speak with the mouth thingy. All right,
yeah,
I found it. I don't even need it. I was too fast. I got it.
I've been gone. Money in my pocket, toe ring, gold socket, stumble on stage, bare feet, whole crowd stop, can't top it, big toe flash, I lock it, blue line cash, I clock it, if the shoes go missing, fine, I make a lane, I walk it, all I need is feet, boy, all I need is floor, 1 step, then 2 step, hear the whole room roar, no lace, no shame, no fear, I came to collect right here. Big toe money, Jake money funny, kids go dumb for the summer. Big toe money, all I need is feet, boy, I've been gone. Toe paint chips still shining, mud on the sole still climbing, count that chain.
Your mic. John, your mic.
Anyways, thank you very much for that, Handsome Horse. I appreciate that. It goes very hard. Subarctic Psycho for 10 says, GWAD Alchemist, more like G1D's nuts. Ha! Got him. Thank you, Subarctic Psycho. That was I bet I said that exactly as you intended it. Thank you. And then we have Kike Raped Jeet Slave for 3 saying, I'm going to slime my friends with a micro Draco in the apocalypse. Whoa, bro. If you think you're going to just go out and kill your friends in the apocalypse with a micro Draco, like, who are we even taking our advice from? The Raped Jeet Slave? Like, nobody should be listening to that guy. He's crazy. All right. Let's get to, actually, let me check Rumble real fast. Oh, Jarrett for 5 says, I have Family Guy on my TV so I can focus on the stream. Christ is king and God is good. That's good. What was that? That was weird to look over there and see myself looking back at me. Damn.
Yeah.
That is like almost exactly what my helmet looks like too. Anyways, thank you, Oh Jarrett. That's right. You got to either have Subway Surfers or Family Guy on the background so you can actually listen. I know how it is. Suicide for 5 says, GWAT gives me flashbacks to when Farva tried to order a large Farva. All right. Thank you very much for that. Very base. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk ATF, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that this is going to be non-rage inducing at all. This isn't even technically rage bait yet, but I'm sure it will be.
473 transfers from a rabid, ideological, and highly political anti-gun group within DOJ ATF that next time the political winds shift in DC and they are put in charge, they are promising revenge. And folks, they aren't going to stop until they feel like they can get it. I want to go into some of the more recent things that I've been hearing in my offline discussions. So without further
Now, I think that this was always a possibility, not just for the new 4473 transfers, right? Without a Form 4, basically. But you have to remember when the big, beautiful bill passed and we dropped the tax down to $0, well, while that is nice, that is good, that does leave the door open for the possibility that they raise the price. If you can lower the price, well, theoretically, somebody else could raise the price. So if in, 2026, 2028 or later, let's say Democrats or blue politicians in general take control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, well, then they can get a lot of stuff passed and they can theoretically pass the inverse big, beautiful bill where, let's say, just for the sake of argument, that they match the $200 tax stamp to inflation, which from 1934 to now would make the tax stamp about $4,500. So now, not only is the tax stamp enforceable again because there is a tax applied to it, but now it is, nearly $5,000 for the tax stamp on a single suppressor, right? So, I mean, there's always a possibility of reciprocation, okay, of these guys coming back at you to retaliate against you and I because they hate me and you and our families and our way of life and tradition and morals and God and, yeah, everything that we stand for, basically.
ado, folks, let's get into it. So this is part of an ongoing, continuing series of trying to bring you the very latest information as it's coming into me. I do, unfortunately, have to sit on a lot of things that I'm hearing for a wide variety of different reasons. But
now, much like much other news that we hear nowadays coming from random groups online, when somebody tells you, hey, I heard this from somebody on the inside saying this or that, it is best to take it with a pinch of salt. Now, this all makes like logical sense. It doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, but I'm just saying the specifics are dubious at best and we'll need some verification in the future.
But this is too scary and too unfortunate, and I do have permission to share it. Like any organization of size, there's going to be a spectrum of folks inside of it. The ATF, the DOJ, these are no different. There are going to be elements within these organizations that are rabidly anti-Second Amendment. You're going to have people who are surprisingly very much pro-Second Amendment, and then a lot of shades of folks in between.
Yep. I do love sentences like that where it's like, hey, did you know, guys, that there is a litany of views within public office? Yep, sure. Could you get to the little information drop? Because, I mean, this is a 10-minute video, so you can just kind of lead with the headline, so to speak.
The Second Amendment crowd right now is not particularly happy with the direction that the DOJ as well as the ATF has been taking under President Trump's second administration. I've had a wide variety of conversations with a wide variety of folks with a wide variety of, let's just say, access and contacts, and leave it at that.
I've had also a wide variety of conversations with a wide variety of internet schizos, and they provided me with a wide variety of information, some of which came to them in dreams, in meth-fueled psychosis, in bad acid trips, and some of it's good, some of it's not.
In some of these organizations, one thing has been made abundantly clear to me, and it's not a good thing. The anti-Second Amendment crowd within ATF DOJ is promising a reckoning. When the political winds shift in DC, their side becomes re-empowered and reinvigorated about what they're going to do for all these 4473 transfers. But what I am hearing is that come hell or high water, they are going to do anything and everything possible to go after the individuals, to go after the organizations, the FFLs, you name it, to basically go on the revenge tour. This is what
I mean, that's technically possible, though. Again, I don't know how easy it will be for them to go after individuals who have transferred suppressors on 4473s. Now, anything is possible, of course. The ATF being an evil organization that will attempt to, metaphorically rape you and your family out of, life, liberty, and home. Like, that's not outside of the realm of possibility. That's actually quite possible, I would say. However, because of the injunction, because of the way that the rules are currently written, because the ATF has not provided any guidance to retroactively enforce a lot of this stuff, I think would be difficult, right? Unless you get some really crazy liberal judges in there, which is always a possibility. And then you get some really liberal district judges and then Supreme Court judges. Like, a lot of this stuff, there are fortunately still some layers of protection, however arduous and tenuous they might be as of right now.
what I'm hearing. This is what I'm being told. And I want to be clear again. This is not everyone within these organizations. These are highly politicized ideological elements that exist within these organizations who, unfortunately, if and when political winds shift in DC, will be put into positions of power to see their plan through. I've been told that they're not going to care what the guidance is. They don't really care what some judge says somewhere. They will do everything to just plow ahead, and the process can be the punishment.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, of course. And they do that with people all the time. You could look at Dugan Ashley or Jordan Derrick, who is currently sitting behind bars without the possibility of bond right now, away from his family, even though he has never committed violence against anyone, right? Even though he served his country admirably. So yeah, of course they will go after people without cause. Of course they will try to ruin people's lives, but that's just like normal, right? They're doing that right now under a red administration, under a quote unquote pro-gun administration, under a quote unquote pro-freedom administration. So none of that is shocking to me in any ways. You're like, oh yeah, if blue people get in power, they'll go after us. It's like, yeah, that's how that works.
As the saying goes, you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. Also, even if they lose a criminal prosecution or administrative hearing or civil process or whatever, fine. They've been getting paid the whole time. You have been paying your attorneys. Who really won that process? This is what I'm being told. This is what I'm hearing, to be clear. But
actually, very true. I always forget, unfortunately, about Tate Adamayak and his absolutely bogus prison sentence and the just nightmare scenario that he's in for essentially doing nothing, right? Even if you could construe it as a crime, which I don't believe it is, it's the most non-violent nothingness crime of all time, and he's going to be serving, what, like 20 years? And what's Trump and the DOJ doing for him right now? Nothing. You think if a blue president gets in there and a blue DOJ and a blue, House and Senate, you think things are going to magically get better? No, of course not.
There is something of a silver lining to this. I think there's 3 problems that are being acknowledged to me that I've thrown up as, well, what if one of these 3 or all 3 of these things happen in a perfect case scenario? What will that mean for this revenge tour? Let's go through them. So what happens if there is ATF guidance? If people are comporting at that guidance, which, not to mention, the federal judge, but never mind that for right now, right? If they're in line with what the ATF guidance is saying, shouldn't they be protected? Shouldn't they be okay? Well, one of the questions is, how basically good will that guidance be? In other words, if ATF comes out...
We were supposed to have guidance like 2 weeks ago at this point, right? They said it was going to be like a Friday a week and a half ago. And now here it is, the 26th of August at time of recording right now. Still no ATF guidance. Now, in a perfect world, the guidance would be like 2 sentences long. Like, if covered under the injunction, proceed with a 4473, right? That's what the ATF's guidance should be. If you are a covered person, whether it be through GOA, Palmetto State Armory, Silencer Shop, one of the states, or, the other people, right, that are covered under the injunction. If you are covered under the injunction, proceed with a 4473. That's what it should be. But no, it's not. It's going to be 25 pages long. It's going to be vague. It's going to be muddy. It's going to be gross. It's going to be opaque. and you're going to have undoubtedly a dozen different YouTube lawyers, perhaps like the gentleman on screen currently, going through their different opinions on what the guidance actually means. The guidance will be vague enough to get people in trouble. And I think that's usually the point, right? If you're very specific, well, then people can ride on one side or the other and they're safe or knowingly unsafe. If you make it vague, well, then it's like, who is safe, who's not safe, who are they going to come after, who knows? And it has kind of a chilling effect on the whole thing.
DOJ comes out with guidance that is poorly written, nebulous, fraught with interpretation, issues, loopholes, nebulous wording, then hey, they can use that nebulous wording, loopholes back against folks. If it is written very cleanly, very clearly, with absolutely rigid goalposts about if you do these things, you will be okay, that's going to make it much more difficult. Difficult to maybe get the outcomes of what they're trying to do with these individualized actions, should they pursue this revenge tour in the 2030s at some point.
Well, too many choices. I think, isn't that just another word for nebulous? You could call it nebulous. You can call it amorphous, indistinct, unclear, opaque, right? I mean, you could substitute a lot of different words in there if you wanted to.
Point. But again, I have been told the process is the punishment. And there will be a lot of process for a lot of folks. But just the same, it has to be said that if they do a great job writing the guidance, that will be a big problem for the revenge tour folks to have to get over. The second big problem is just what I've been calling the felony Red Rover or the legal Red Rover problem. Remember when you were a kid, there'd be a bunch of people on one side of a field would be holding hands and trying to stop people from running through, right? They would kind of stop them.
Yeah,
coming at you like a bowling ball. There's a good chance that a well-organized line could hold, could resist, even though they really shouldn't if everyone just went. I'm not suggesting that people should just act irrationally without education, without first consulting with an attorney, because before you do anything here, you absolutely need to be doing both of those things. I am an attorney, not your attorney. This is not.
Okay, so we're 6 minutes into this video. Did he say exactly what his quote unquote inside sources in the ATF and DOJ are planning to do once political winds change? Which again would be semi-likely, I would say, 2026 and 2028. You're probably going to see, if I had to bet, I'd say a Democrat president in 2028, right? People are not particularly happy with Trump or with JD Vance. So let's just say 2028. Probably 55, 60% chance swings Democrat. House and Senate, probably I would say almost guaranteed that at least one of those flips blue in 2026 or 2028, right? So again, it's like we have some dark tides on the horizon, so to speak, even though gun companies do love blue presidents and blue houses and blue senates because fear is the name of the game when it comes to driving sales, right? I mean, that's why 2020, 2021, so on and so forth were the biggest years for the industry ever on record because of fear.
Forming an attorney-client relationship, you need to do that with your competent local counsel. But one of the things that has come up and surfaced repeatedly throughout these conversations that I've been having with folks is the fact that, look, if there's enough people that just send it here, it's going to be very difficult to walk that back. As opposed to if there's a small number of people who are doing 4473 transfers for suppressors, let's say. SPRs gets complicated because there's an extra statute that's involved. And check out my deep dive video on SPRs if you want more information on that. But if you have enough people that are doing this, if you've got enough people that are charging across the field against the legal Red Rover line, it has been acknowledged to me that, yeah, that could be a game changer. That doesn't mean that everyone will be protected. It doesn't mean that they won't still play favorites, for lack of a better way of putting it. But
yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe. He's saying there's a lot of words here, but nothing is really being said. This video is literally boomer bait nothing. Because if you were to tell me, hey, John, did you know that in the future, the ATF will try to come after American citizens? Yeah, that's not shocking. Okay. Yep. Sure thing. Did you know that when you have a anti-gun DOJ, ATF, presidency, House, and Senate, that there will be restrictive rules on what you can and can't own? Yep, that makes sense too. I'm right there with you. Totally get it. Did you know that the process is the punishment? Heard that a million times. Yep, 100%. Did you know that I have a nebulous inside or amorphous inside source that says generically things could go bad in the future? Yep, 100%. I agree. I'm right there with you. But yeah, no real new information, nothing really interesting. Hey, did you know the ATF is going to come out with bad, language about their guidance for Form 4-less suppressor transfers? Yeah, but I mean, do you guys remember when the whole brace thing was going on, and like myself and Hop got written up in that one ATF letter about people getting around the stock and brace ban rules? I think myself, Hop, and like 12 other YouTubers were mentioned in that ATF letter. Which that was back when my channel was like tiny. I had only made like a couple dozen gun videos, and I'm getting mentioned in ATF letters. Like, oh shoot, gosh dang it, that's awful. And yeah, it's like back then. Do you guys remember the different guidance they were trying to offer that never came to fruition on braces back in the day, right? Because they had to offer like a public comment period of like 30 days. And every time they did that, it got like BTFO'd, and then they rewrote it, and they had another public comment period and all that other nonsense, right? I guarantee you suppressors will be very much the same thing. It will be nebulous. It will be amorphous. It will be opaque and indiscriminate for the next, like, maybe even post-election, maybe even post-2026, right? Midterms, just to kind of see how the political winds are moving, right? Because if it's a total red dominance, then the ATF might just post something that makes a little more sense if they think they have more power that way. But if you see the House flip or the Senate flip or whatever else it might be, like, okay, well, here, this gives us a little more leverage to maybe push a little harder anti-gun in 2026, so our language can be more amorphous, more blobular, if you will. Okay. All right. Well, I don't think we need to cover any more of that. Thank you very much. What's this fellow's name again? Tom Grieve. Okay. Hey, guys, the ATF may come after you. And I agree. I totally am 100% on your team when it comes to that. Now, speaking of teams that I'm not on, we have, what is this? Arm Trans Women Gun Shop and Instruction School plans to open in downtown Harrisburg. Now, we have this fine young lady over here. Any Woods in the chat? Any Woods? No Woods in the chat. Okay, very, very strange. A firearm instruction and sales business designed to provide a safe place for marginalized communities is slated to open in Harrisburg this fall. Arms Trans Woman firearms instruction owner Clara Elliott of Harrisburg is planning to take the space live in October. The business will occupy the third floor of 401 North 2nd Street, doxing the tranny militia warehouse on Main. Bold move. A space Elliott found on Facebook Marketplace. I don't know about you, but this looks sketchy AF. This looks like somebody's attic. The trannies are hiding in the attic, are they not? You have trannies under the floorboards? Gun sales will take place in one room. Firearm instruction classes using toy guns for practice will take place in another. So, yes, we are practicing on trannies, or tranny practicing in the special rape room, or the other room, the special location. Okay. The live fire portion is done either at local ranges or the state game lands, that kind of thing, explained Elliott. Pistol shooting 101 will be offered at $135 over the course of 8 hours. Well, that's a long course. It's rather cheap. Maybe you guys should take it, okay? For an entry-level course, for an 8-hour course, $135. That's not bad. In it, Elliott walks students through the NRA's basic pistol shooting course about safely handling, cleaning, and storing firearms at home and at the range. A 5-hour pistol 102 offered at $170, then build on these basic skills. Private lessons and medical response training. How do I fix a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Elliott? What if I really feel like self-inflicting with a gunshot wound? How would I fix that? Specifically through the head.
Tourniquet around the neck.
Tourniquet around the neck. Good answer. According to Elliott, everything is offered on a sliding scale basis. And if sliding scale is out of reach, she also offers classes to members of the trans community, single mothers, and survivors of human trafficking and domestic violence for free. So basically, the whiter and straighter you are, the more money you pay. Okay. So if you're an indigenous person of color who happens to be queer gender fluid, then you get it, you know, for reduced cost. Okay. So this is like that one restaurant that added a 20% premium if you were a man. Do you remember that restaurant?
Yeah.
I want to say it was in like New York City or something like that. And there was a 20% man tax, basically. Of course, they went out of business, ironically. So it's like, all right, you know, basically that, but in reverse. All right. I firmly believe, and this has been one of my founding principles, that price should never be an obstacle to learning how to protect you, your family, or your community. The former office building located at the corner of an N, 2nd and South Street, owned by Harrisburg-based Halden Horizons Group, is currently going through a city approval process to convert it into a 7-unit apartment building. Dude, could you imagine being in an apartment building and knowing the 3rd floor houses the tranny militia? It's like every time a gunshot goes off, are you like, is there an assassination attempt going on? Is there a suicide attempt going on? Like, I don't even know anymore. The gunshots happen in the middle of the night and it's like, I don't even know. This is what it is. Everybody in 2020 was looking to get into guns. Elliott said it was one of the biggest boosts in gun sales in years because of everything that was going on. All types of people. Yeah. I don't know why I'm so tired. All types of people were waiting in line, she said. All colors, all genders, all 2 of them. When she heard 2 men behind her making derogatory comments about himself, a trans woman. You're just a dude. Listen, okay? You're just a dude who's autistic and into guns. And that's fine, okay? Like literally 80% of the chat is autistic and into guns, okay? But they don't, you know, pretend to be something that they're not, which you quite obviously are. It's fine to be autistic and into guns, okay? There's no problems. Now a firearms instructor of 6 years, Elliott grew up shooting starting at age 10 with Revolutionary War rifles. And now you're an affront to the people who wielded those. That's what I learned to shoot on, he said, as his family regularly took part in the Revolutionary War reenactments on the weekends in Virginia. Damn, dude, your ancestors look upon you with disgust. Maybe they're happy their bloodline has ended now. Later, he found himself teaching friends and his children. Aww. On how to use firearms safely, sometimes coaching them through first-time questions and jitters. At ATW's Harrisburg locations, he anticipates many customers will also be interacting with firearms for the first time. Most of the people that come to me have had no prior experience with shooting, and most come from backgrounds where they were raised in anti-gun families. So true. I mean, always remember, guys, that this is your opposition, right? These are the people threatening you online to kill you, to dox you, to assassinate you, to murder your family, to rape your children. Like, the types of people are like actually afraid of firearms and in most cases completely incapable of actually wielding them. No prior experience, and most come from backgrounds where they were raised in anti-gun families or they have always been afraid of guns. But they recognize where our world is at right now. He hopes to provide a safe space, not just for the LGBTQ plus community, but for all marginalized groups. He emphasized, because it's so difficult for marginalized people to find a safe place to learn about or purchase guns, people often commute hours to ATW. ATW has got to be a funnier name for that. It brings in a lot of people who would not have come into the gun space otherwise, he said. He's heard from people in Pittsburgh, New York, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. who are interested in coming to the space. Elliott is excited for his clients to experience Harrisburg's local businesses during their visits, staying at local hotels and eating at local restaurants while they take a weekend course. It really is more than coming for a class, he said. Armed trans women. Again, but you're just dudes. It's just dudes in male-dominated spaces. You know, it's just a total sausage fest in there. Armed trans women. It's just dudes. It's just bros being bros talking about firearms, you know? It's just bros plus Marxism, you know? And for some reason, a higher aptitude for pedophilia and for self-deletion. It's crazy. Crazy. I'm getting that shirt for John. That is funny, actually. I would unironically wear that, you know, And then I would get some ally coming up to me and being like, "Oh, I love your shirt." Somebody who doesn't know me on it, obviously. And I'd be like, "Ah, all right. What's your name again? Where do you live?" Ah, right. All right. Makes sense. Okay. I'll save that useful information for later. Thank you. Bros plus retardism. Yeah. All right. The Discord going to be empty on class days. That's wild. Very true, though. All right. So, yes. I didn't see any woods in the chat. I'm actually kind of disappointed. Not a single wood in the chat for this fine young lady. Tactical dilators. Whoa, whoa, hey. Dilate, stay mad. What does the shirt say? That's right. Violent bigotry and big toe money. Troons lie on 4473s. Yeah, if the ATF was actually doing their job, we could fix a lot of problems. Okay, like listen, if the ATF's sole purpose was to throw inner city gangs in jail and go after trannies for lying on 4473s, like we would all be pro ATF here. Like if that was their job, it's like, yeah, if you're in a gang, you just get, murked in the streets, or if you lie in a 4473, like all trans do, then yeah, you just get thrown into prison. Which, listen, okay, let's be real. A lot of the trannies, like they'll be happy in prison. Like, 3 square meals a day, all the sex you could ever ask for. All right, let's go ahead and get to your guys' support real fast, and then we'll get into actual rage bait, and we'll get out of here a little bit early tonight. That'll be awesome. Richard, you good on time?
I might have to get out of here pretty quick.
Okay, well, I'll keep going, and then when you need to go, pop out. Zaniko for 2 says, "Where is Focus Coin?" Dude, I need to be ripping people off, okay? I gotta just embrace the grift. And we just got a Focus Coin, Trip Coin, whatever it is. And it's going to be a total rug pull. And I'm going to make like $11 off of it. Totally worth it to sell my soul for $11.
You need to make actual coins and have one side of it just clipped.
There you go. Yeah. Do a challenge coin, like some gay instructors do, but make it clipped.
Yeah.
I'm a lead farm motherfucker for 10 says, "Give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt." Juvenile. That bread and circus is your NFA wins. Well, yeah, I think that there might be some element of it. I don't know how intentional it is, where the quote unquote wins are more like placating efforts, if that makes sense, where they'll appease enough people enough to not stimulate or foment, whether it's insurrection or political unrest or unease. I think that there is an element of that there. It's kind of like, how much pressure can you build without having a little bit of release, and they want to just keep it perfect. Okay. Keep it cooking. But every time it boils up a little too much, get a little win, a little nicety in there that kind of relieves the pressure a little bit. Thank you. I'm a lead farmer. Karani for 10 says, "Had my buddy who works in the safety department tune into our cab cameras while you were playing Big Toe Money. I got that. What the F are you listening to?" Text literally 30 seconds later. LMAO, Christ is king. Well, that is so funny. I am glad to have memetically infected your safety department and your cab. That is very funny. Well, Godspeed out there, good sir. Hope you're having a good night. And I'm glad that Big Toe Money can infect another. Zanyco for 2 says, "I'm falling asleep. Press 1. Richard says the word." Well, we don't know what color Richard is, so Richard can say nigga if he wants to. Like, it's not actually going to hurt the show. Mitzvot for 2 says, "Richard, still have Chibi Reese?" Is that who's on screen?
Yes.
What is Chibi?
The small cartoon character.
And what's Reese? Is that a character?
Yeah, I think it's Rias.
Rias.
I think that's how it's pronounced. And yes, that
Okay.
is another character.
I'm probably glad I don't know what that is. Moonman for 5 says, "What was that horse in the thumbnail?" Richard, whatever anime girl Logan likes. What was the girl in the thumbnail? I don't even remember which one I put in there. I just grabbed one. I have a huge folder of thumbnail. Oh my gosh. Of thumbnail selections that I just throw in at random. So I honestly couldn't tell you. I just steal them. Autism's Revenge for 2 says, $10. 42% of the class breaks the 180 rule. Yeah. Okay, what would you rather do, guys? Very important question here. Would you rather switch places with these people for the entire day, right? This wonderful old couple, and you just have to stand there as every shooter takes their shot at this target, or go to this young woman's class Which one would you rather do? I know where I'd rather be. Moonman for 2 says, tell me that's a Marlin and not a Red Rider. Oh, in the background? That's a good question. I actually can't tell from here. Or the lady. Moonman for 5 says, comes from an anti-gun family, no interest in firearms. Yeah, so someone who will hurt themselves accidentally, or in this case, on purpose. Thank you. Zanyco for 2 says, coin I posted on your X. I did see that the other day, but there are literally so many notifications because people are still going off about that post. I'm still scrolling back. I'm still scrolling back through my notifications. It'll get there eventually. You did tag me in it, right? Is it in my bookmarks? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay. This is what you're talking about. This coin right here. Trip coin. But just make it, clipped because it'd be funny. Thank you, Zany. Amurai Boy for 5 says, remember to research the enemy's arguments and tactics so you can defeat them. To quote a toy company, knowing is half the battle. Yeah, no, and I think that's why you should keep abreast, poor phrasing, with some of these tranny groups to see what they're up to, what they're into, how they're training, where they're training, who they are, yada, 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 yada. Just have them all categorized for future purposes. Thank you, Amurai Boy. Logan Sucks at Shooting for 5 says it should be Super Creek, but Tacky Shuttle is cool too. Also, the Uma in the thumbnail was Oguri Cap. None of those words are in the Bible. So that's cool and all. Jeez. Oh my gosh. What abomination did you just post?
I think that is the one that he wanted.
That's Super Creek. Because it's Logan. All right. Over on Ko-Fi, I saw a couple more come through over there, and then we'll get to the tunnel people. YOLO Bacon Box, Canonical Revan for $5 becomes a Ko-Fi caffeine creep. YOLO Bacon Box for 3 says, anyone know how good the Psyonix R1 rails are? Haven't really found anything on them. Also, peach or pumpkin pie. I prefer pumpkin personally. Pumpkin pie is like my favorite pie. Although I'm not that big of a pumpkin or a pie guy in general. Richard, your take?
Cobbler.
Well, peach or pumpkin? I imagine peach.
If it's pie, I have to go with pumpkin, but I do prefer peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler, right. No, I agree with that 100%. Let's see here. Psyonix R1 rails are pretty good. Let me pull them up. If it's the one that I'm thinking of for the money, they're actually really hard to beat. But I want to make sure that I'm not feeding you bad information, so to speak. So let's see. Yeah. Oh, no. They're decent rails for the money. Like decent to good rails for the money. For 150 bones, hard to beat. Thank you very much for that, good sir. Appreciate that. And last one. Shoot, where did it go? Canonical Raven for $10 says, don't get to catch the lives very often, but the VODs help me get through the workday. Thank you for the entertainment. Christ is King. Psalms 58:10. Let me pull it up. Psalms 58:10 is the righteous will be glad when they are avenged, when they dip their feet in the blood of the wicked. Based? Mega Based? That was probably, if I had to guess, okay, I'm going to say that one was written by David. Based? All right, let's go ahead and move on from that baseness to anti-baseness, which is going to be the tunnel people. They've struck again, the mole people. Bushmaster for 2 says, evening, my lords, over on Rumble. Tips Fedora. I was wondering if mayhaps, perchancebly, be able to recommend a good red dot or holographic site to put on my 10.4 BRN4. Science bless. Wow, that was a cringe sentence, Bushmaster. But depending on your price category, what you're looking at, I think one of the best dots on the market right now is the Holosun Ames. Either the Core or the Pro, doesn't really matter. You can get the Ames Evo if you want a bit of a bigger dot. You can get the ARO Evo if you want a bigger tube-style dot. I think those are really hard to beat right now. If you want to spend more money, the Sig Romeo 8T, the Sig Romeo 4Ts, also very good. And if you get an EXPS 3, then you'll be good to go, right, for holographic if you want something that's a little different. So, and then he follows up with another 2, says, here's 2 more for making you read that retarded crap. Christ is King, God bless. Well, thank you very much, sir. And that extra $2 almost made it worth it. All right, let's get to the tunnel people. Now, this might not be the same tunnel people that you're expecting. However, as of a couple days ago, New York City authorities have yet to nab the mole people in manhole next to Penn Station last week. Reconnaissance 911. The New York Police Department on Monday said no busts have yet been made involving the mole people who climbed from a manhole just feet from the main entrance to Penn Station last week, terrifying the public. I just immediately thought Reconnaissance 911, said Arizona tourist named Mark to the Post in packed Herald Square in Manhattan. If you're an Iranian soldier, you need to cripple New York City, under Penn Station, under Madison Square Garden. Aren't all the train lines crisscrossing down there? Ooh, is this like pre-programming for a quote-unquote Iranian terror attack on American soil as a impetus for getting us into the war? Or getting us like more involved in the war, right? Like a boots on the ground operation officially, right? Is that what I'm spelling out here? Is this pre-gaming? Is this programming? Okay, trying to get us into that mindset that yes, there's Iranian soldiers underneath New York City. Definitely not Jews with mattresses. No, it's Iranians planting bombs underneath Madison Square Garden. It's the Iranians for sure, with those small little hats that they wear. A trio of underground scofflaws. What? Maybe my vernacular is just not up to snuff, but what the heck is a scofflaw? So scofflaw is a noun coined during the Prohibition era, which originally denoted a person who drinks illegally or otherwise ignored anti-drinking laws. A scofflaw, a scoundrel, a rapscallion, a ruffian, if you will.
A scofflaw?
Scofflaw?
Yeah, I think it's scofflaw. The text is too small for me to see, but I think it's scofflaw.
Scofflaw. Well, there's two F's, so
yeah.
Scofflaw. The scofflaws was caught on video around 4:20 a.m. August 18th, wearing headlamps and overalls, pulling themselves out of a sanitation and drainage hole about 150 feet away from Penn Station, just a block from Madison Square Garden, then hurriedly walking away. A worker with nearby Penn 2 developer Vornado Realty Trust said he was unaware that cops had been snooping around the tourist and business choked area, collecting potential surveillance footage of the creepy night crawlers. There's the guy. There's our mole man. The more they told me about it, the more I wanted to get transferred to another area, the man said. The disturbing incident was eerily similar to two mole people sightings in Brooklyn earlier this year, which led to a handful of arrests involving people who cops believe were hunting for valuables. Police have collected surveillance footage that possibly captured the latest incident to try and ID the three people using facial recognition software technology and track them down to figure out what they were up to, law enforcement sources said. Now, while of course there's obviously nefarious means that you could be undertaking in the underground, so to speak, but couldn't these also just be like urban explorers, right? Because like the New York City underground has got to be insane. You know, the tunnels, the twists, the turns, the subways, the just everything down there. Like there's probably a secondary city underneath New York, right? The tunnel Jews obviously have their own little corner of the underground cut out for themselves where you don't want to go in there or we're going to get hit with the Sheeny curse or something like that. But I mean, these could just be like guys looking for something fun to do. Like you have all those IRL streamers who are doing, you know, whether it's videos or streams or documentaries, kind of like going into places where they shouldn't go, like the people that always try and get into Chernobyl or any of these other places, right? It could just be some good, wholesome shenanigans, not, you know, an Iranian bomb threat that they're going to take down Madison Square Garden or something like that. Which I feel like looking at this dude, he looks he looks a little special. He looks like he's been digging around a lot, actually. You know, he's got overalls on, his hands are caked in mud, he's got a headlamp. He's just kind of chilling after crawling out of a manhole, and he's just going to run away. I don't know. Cops only became aware of the incident Sunday after another video of the mole people went viral on social media. The NYPD is aware of the incident and is actively investigating, the police department said in a statement to the Post on Monday. There are no arrests, and the investigation is ongoing. The incident occurred on August 18, 2026 at 4:19 hours on the southeast corner of West 31st Street and 7th Avenue. Again, here's another one. 7 people were spotted emerging from a manhole in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Now, this is like anytime there's like an underground or secretive area in a metropolitan or highly populated area, you know it's going to be used for all sorts of nefarious purposes, whether it's human trafficking, whether it's blood magic rituals done by the Jews underneath New York City, whether it's drug trafficking, whether it's, any sort of illicit activity that, you don't want to be made public. It could be drug farms. It could be, storage facilities. It could be any number of things happening down there that people just want to remain secret. So that looks like, I don't know exactly what I'm looking at with the pixels on the screen, but that looks like a black person. Could be some illegal smuggling operation. Could be, the Somalis building their own Somaliland underground. Like, who knows what's going on down there? Mario cosplaying, that's also a possibility. Just some good old wholesome fun. Could be very funny. Could be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also possible. Urban explorers take pictures and videos. I don't see any cameras with those people. Yeah, I mean, but if it's like illegal to be in these areas, right? Because like I don't know how the law works in New York City. I don't know if these are like prohibited areas where you get like a trespassing violation. But if going to these places is a crime, I don't know if they really want to be recording themselves while committing a crime, right? If it's just for the thrills or something like that. I don't know, though. I'm not in these people's heads. I don't know what they're up to. Could be no good. Could be just some wholesome shenanigans. Anything in between, okay? There could be a wide variety of things. Sorry, go ahead.
Head-mounted GoPro.
Well, I think that the other image that we saw, I mean, it could be a GoPro, but it looks like a light. Just with the little, you can see like the reflector housing thing, I think. Because, I mean, you're going to need a lighting source down there. I imagine not everywhere is perfectly lit because I don't know how much maintenance, in terms of like light bulbs and electricity happens in all those tunnels down there. Handsome Moore says Logan searching for Umas under New York City. Possible. All right. Let's go ahead and what else do we have here? Do we have any good rage bait? I don't think we do.
We do have something really good sent in from our good friend Around the Fire.
Oh, let me pull that up. What did I get? Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Toe Cash.
Well,
it's just an MP3. We'll get through one bit of rage bait. And it's not even rage bait. We don't have any rage bait, okay? This is the White Pill Wednesday stream. So there's not really any rage bait, okay? We got cops descending on a man who was, I don't even know, like a hoarder, like using a walker. And then we have blacks complaining that they didn't just shoot the guy a bunch, which is kind of funny. But we have cops trying to get this guy to stop with his tomfoolery, okay? And then we'll take a look at Jake's Cash Money Toes or something like that.
Can you open the door a little bit? Hey, County, open the door, not us. I didn't break that door. How's the authority?
Okay, so you can see here is the guy's walking thing that he used to barricade the door. He doesn't want to be evicted from his apartment. There's garbage everywhere. And well, it's not too garbage filled, like the floors are relatively cleaned, but there's just boxes and stacks of stuff everywhere. So one suspect is in custody after deputies say he attempted to use a homemade flame launcher to stop an eviction in Oklahoma City. Read more here.
No.
So it's kind of organized chaos. Like, again, there's boxes, there's crap, there's stuff everywhere. You can tell it's a really old dude in a wheelchair, got a walker, can't really get around, and he's getting evicted. Kind of a sad story when you think about it. So he's sitting down next to his walker, obviously not a threat, but he has some homemade explosive flame-throwing device, which is quite funny.
Oh, back out, back out! Hey! Back out, back out! I know. He's fine. Quit.
Wow.
Quit. I love how upset that officer is. He's like he's like a disappointed dad when like their kid kicks him or something like that, or throws him in. Quit. You stop that. You scofflaw. You rapscallion. Quit it.
Quit. Can you open? Can you open?
And I mean, so of course, in the comment sections, many ethnics are very upset that they were not killing him. Ha ha, white could do anything, and the cops just says quit. It's literally an old invalid man sitting next to his walker, and he lights something on fire that hurts himself more than anyone else. But of course, if he was black, they would have killed him, and they would have been right to. Quit, he says, quit. Jason Bourne, quit. Let's see, quit. When I saw this earlier, there were a lot more ethnics upset that he wasn't getting killed. Free my boy, of course. Let's talk about this. Low income senior. Yep. Let's talk about how if he was a POC, cops would have emptied a few clips into him, says Kwamari Zagui. All right, buddy. Bet they took the white man alive. Of course they did. Like, yeah, he's a harmless old person trying to stop himself from being evicted. You notice how he's not chimping out, how he's not acting erratically, how he lights something on fire that hurts himself more than anyone else. Now, if he was waving a gun around, guess what? They would have killed him. But a strange, ineffective IED, not worthy of getting turned into mincemeat. They're so patient.
And the chimps don't understand how to play with fire yet.
That's true. They'll figure out the wheel someday as well. They're so patient when it's their own skin tone. Again, he's sitting down, invalid. He might even be naked right now. He doesn't do anything to threaten any of the officers other than that one burst of flame. But if he had charged at them with a knife, it's like that. All the footage that you see, it's like, my boy didn't do nothing. Then you watch the body cam and it's them charging at a police officer with a knife or with a gun. And it's like, yep. If he had done either of those things, yep, he would have been put down like a dog. But since he did not, since he did something wacky, he's actually okay. Again, the cops are like upset, obviously. They have their guns out. But it's like, it's hard to tell, but it's an ancient old man. It's an ancient, naked old man sitting next to his walker, getting evicted. Obviously, he's not like, it's kind of crazy actually how ingenious this old man is, right? He's 70, 80 years old, invalid. He's got a walker. He's got a motorized scooter. He's barricaded his door in there. And he's like, what can I do to stay here? And he's looking around his apartment and he's building a flamethrower, okay? It's like, you think a Groid could ever do that? You think a Groid could reach that level of aura? I don't think so. What is Alex on about? Again, I love Polish women. I've never seen an ugly woman.
Oh, they're talking about Polish border security doing border security things with migrants.
Oh, yeah. Killing them? Yeah. All right. Can a robot write a symphony? Yeah. I should have that clip or the beep sound effect. They both work. All right. Well, Richard, I think you made it to the end of the stream. Jing Jina for 5 says, "Hey Richard, hit him with the Herakite Ikkyo."
I'm going to have to search for a better image because the ones that I got were either not appropriate or I couldn't use them because of the format. So,
is that just another Uma?
I think
so. It's hard to tell these days what's an anime girl and what's an Uma. Okay, the line is getting dangerously thin. Thank you, Jing Jina, though. Appreciate that. Moonman for 5 says, Scavin out here trying to initiate the pestilence scheme in New York City. Yeah, possibly. He's got a lot of random stuff in there, and with all of his things, all of the belongings that he's collected throughout this life of his, he managed to put together a flamethrower. Although I do agree with some of the other comments that it is a very sad and tragic situation where you are at the end of your life and you're getting evicted. You don't have any family to take care of you, no children or no children near enough to come help you out. Your wife is divorced or not in the picture anymore. And you're just kind of like, you're basically going to be going to a state old folks home or on the street. And that's how you're going to die. Very sad and tragic. So you know what you should do? You should check in on the homies. You should be a good father, a good husband, and you should, invest in the relationships around you. Okay. No Jewish investing here. We're not talking about Roth IRAs. We're talking about childhood memories and stuff like that. You should invest in your children, your family, your community, and be an active part. Sacrifice for them. Okay. In the hopes that someday they will return the favor to you. Richard, what do you got to say before we get out of here?
I think you just said it. That's everything I was going to say right there.
Well, fine. Perfect. We do have 3 minutes of a BTM song to listen to, but ladies and gentlemen, while me and Richard sit awkwardly in the background and this song plays, just know that I love you very much. And I appreciate you all for watching, for hanging out. Check in on the homies, even GWatt Alchemist, okay? His friends, if you're his fans in the chat right now, go check them out, okay? Or go check in on the homie, make sure he's doing good, make sure he got what he needs. You never know what other people are going through, so at least try and be there for them. Now, where the heck is this video? Desktop? Can I put it there? I should be able to put it there. Okay, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I will see you next week. God bless. Godspeed. Christ is King. Wrong one. Don't worry, I'll get there.
I'm here for the money, the pizza money, the Jake's on money. It's no longer funny. Sticky to money. Sorry, guy, I gotta go. Big bag, it's okay.